Hello everyone, for the first time viewers, this channel is all about the value and helping you to make a right decision. So in previous video about 4070 when it was released, we covered 10 GPUs which was available at that time, but during several weeks we managed to add up another 10 GPUs with the help of community. So I decided to make a video part 2 which will be continuation of the previous one and cover the rest 10 GPUs. So in future, if we'll manage to add another batch, I will make part 3. So in this video, let's start from the newcomers, which is the colorful 4070 Thermalright EX. This one we found in Korean review webpage and translated to English. So we can see it's a long card, 3-cooler card, 309 11852. This has 200 power limit, but as in previous video we were talking about, it doesn't have nothing to do with the overclocking potential of the card, as for example the PNY XLR8 also was having 200, but it was managed to surpass with overclocking capabilities the other ones which have 240, 220. This is just for extreme overclocking when you are surpassing that limits, but for casual overclocking 200 doesn't mean that your card won't overclock at all. So the price was around 650. You have to compare in your region to see what is the price in your region and then make decision based on the prices, because some cards only based on the price can fall from my recommendation, but like if you find them very cheap, then they can be recommended. Like it happened with some of community members, they managed to find Inno3D which was costing like $100 less than the Asus Dual. So for me, $100 less, I could say yes, you can buy that card because it's very quiet. The only downside which I can say, it's not so great VRM chips, but as I said many times, as this card consumes very low power and has that card has very good cooling of the components, and it has 2 extra phases compared to FE version, so the load for that chips is going to be lower, so the chance of going bad is decreasing. So prices is for your reference, they are not that critical, so you have to check in your region. So this card has a 390mm fans. Let's see, it has an 8-pin connector which is good. So it has 8 VRM chips for the GPU and 2 for the memory, and we can see that this manufacturer is using Alpha Omega chips, which as I said has higher probability of failure, but again, as it has 8 instead of 6 compared to the FE version, so the load on the per chip is lower, and as it also has a good cooling, here we can see that it's cools direct contact for the GPU VRM chips, direct contact for the memory VRM chips, and only the chokes being cooled through the air which is coming through the fins. So we put the good component cooling mark for this type of cooling. So the temperatures will be comparably low if you compare it the same like MSI Ventus X3. So with lower temperatures and lower load, this is not so critical factor. But again, $650, I cannot say that this is a better buy. Plus the noise level, they are noisier than the same Dual. So if Asus Dual is cheaper, again has 8 phases, has better VRM chips, it's confirmed, because for this one I don't have information what type of fan they are using. So this one has a confirmed ball bearing and similar component cooling, so definitely I can say that Asus is better than this one. But again, you have to compare the prices in your region. but nothing to say like just stay away. So if you find a better price, you can go with it. And it's a little bit noisy, you can tune with MSI Afterburner, maybe increase the temperature to like 68 and decrease the noise level. So the next one is a premium version of the same manufacturer, is a colorful iGame Vulkan OC. This is a fancy card. This has 12-pin connector, which is not so good, but has a small LED screen and 215 watt power limit. It has bigger fan compared to that one, so the noise level will be much lower compared to the 90mm fans. Now let's see. It's a support bracket. As I said, 12-pin. It's also a little bit longer and wider and thicker. So it's look nice if you have an open side panel in both vertical and horizontal orientation. It looks very nice with the LED screen. Now let's see. So the cooling of the components is very good, because as I said, I value when the VRM chips has a direct contact with the heatsink. So here we can see that VRM chips direct contact, VRM chips direct contact. Also the chokes has a direct contact, and this chokes has a direct contact. Also 1, 2, 3 we have here, and they all have a direct contact. So we put a very good component cooling level for this card. And additionally, this card also cools other components through the metal piece, but again has a thermal pads, so they covering the direct contact for the VRM chips and VRM chokes, and the metal piece cooling the rest of the components. So it has a 14 phases, and they use 3 phases for the memory, but again using the Alpha Omega chips. But this has even 6 more, like compared to the previous colorful, and like 8 more VRM chips. So the load per chip is very low, so the temperature will be comparably low, and this factor doesn't have to worry you so much. The temperature is low, the noise level is perfect, it's better than the TUF. But again, like TUF costs $50 less. Yes, you get the LED screen with this one, but TUF has better VRM chips. TUF is more compact, has 1/8 pin, and the noise level like below 30 dB you won't notice that much of a difference. So like 24 or 27 you won't be able to distinguish the noise difference. So again, like if you want to pay $50 more for the screen but get the worse VRM chips, it's your choice. Otherwise I would go with the 4070. But it's a good alternative if you live in some country which colorful costs less than the Asus stuff. Why not? You can get that one. So the next new card is a Gigabyte WindForce OC, which I found in the Kit Guru site. Here we can see it's very cheap, let's say, PCB, nothing extraordinary. It's using 7 phases VRM chip, again using the Alpha Omega ones. Costs 600, but again, so it has a very good component cooling. All VRM chokes has a direct contact, VRM chips has a direct contact. These 3 VRM chips and chokes also has a direct contact. So everything has a direct contact, so the temperatures for the components will be much lower. And it's a compact card, but again, sleeve bearing for the fan types, less phases, worse VRM chips. If you compare, like for me, if they cost same price, Asus Dual is better card, even though like It's a two cooler card, but like it's with noise level it's comparably a little bit even lower. The temperatures is lower, so if you configure this one you can go get even lower temperature. Normalized temperatures is much higher for the wind force. So again, I cannot recommend this card for 600. If it was costing like maybe 550, then you can say like if it's worth the $50 that saving going with the Gigabyte instead of Asus Duo, which for me doesn't. It's better to pay $50 more to have a better card for future resale than to get the Gigabyte and have a risk that at least your VRM chips will be blown out, because it's comparably less than the colorful. It's more than the FE, but again 4 mega ones. The next one is a gaming OC. I found in the Russian review site, again translated in English. You can see the PCB. It's very similar but has more faces. It says 8, so 8 plus 3. Again, let's see the VRM chips. They use SiC, which is much better than the Alpha Omega ones and much better than the Windforce OC. So at least there is improvement here, but then they use 12-pin connector, which for me is a little bit downside, especially in the tight cases. So again, like it costs $670. It's has a similar length to the TUF, has a similar power limit, has less VRM phases. One advantage that I forgot to mention, that the Gigabyte cards, they both have fuses on the PCI Express lane. So if something will go wrong with the card, there is a chance that they will protect your motherboard. So this white one is the fuse. So that's the advantage. But again, it says worse fan bearing. Has a similar very good component cooling as the TUF version. Temperature wise, it's a little bit hotter, and the noise wise a little bit noisier. So if it costs $20 more, then again, why to buy this one if you can get TUF $650? If again in your region the prices will be different, then you have to make the decisions which one to get. The next card is a Inno3D X2, which I found in this web page. Let's see I think here we can see again that this has a very good cooling. It has cooling for all VRM chokes, VRM chips, and the rest also being cooled with the thermal pads. So it has a direct contact for the chokes, and here is a thermal pads, which I guess they fall out for the VRM chips. Yeah, they stick to the VRM chips here. That's why they were missing from the heatsink. So all VRM chips has a direct contact, VRM chokes has a direct contact. So it says very good cooling. But again, using the Alpha Omega 8 phases, 8 pin, which is very good. $600, and already some of community members purchased this card, and they were sharing their experience, saying it's very quiet card, running very cool. So we can see it's not so cool, but it's quiet. So if you can increase like this noise level like by 2-3 dB, you can get 67-65 degree for the GPU core temperature. Also the memory runs very cool. So similar card from the Asus has like 10 degree more hotter memory, and it says better component cooling. The only downside for this one is the VRM chip. So my recommendation, again, coming like if it's the same price, if this card doesn't have a critical flaws, this one has at least one, I cannot recommend it over this one. But like as I said, some of community members was finding this card like being $50, $60 more than this one, then in that case, yeah, of course you can make a decision to buy the cheaper card, which is almost as good as the Asus one, only this VRM chip, which again I explained that it's not so critical when you have a very good cooling and have more phases than the FE version. So the next one is the same manufacturer's premium card with 3 fans. Again in Korean side, it's a very nice looking card. It has all 98mm fans. It's a long card, has a 220 power limit, but again using 12-pin connector as a support bracket. Now let's see the internals. So it has similar type of cooling for the components. We can already see that it has all VRM chips direct contact, VRM chokes. Also this chips and chokes has a direct contact here. And here we can see that this is for the chokes, this is for the chips. The same type as it was for the shorter card of the same manufacturers. They have 10 phases for the GPU and 3 phases for the memory, and they are using the Alpha Omega ones. Again, the load for VRM chips will be much lower than the FE one. It runs cooler than the 2 cooler version. This one should be very good, and it's obviously more quieter. So again, $650, $650. More compact card, a little bit noisier but a little bit cooler, same very good component cooling, same 10 phases, better VRM chips, almost similar power limit, and confirmed fan type. It's the best available in the market. So why to buy the Inno3D this one if you can get Asus TUF one again with a similar price? So again, my top recommendation for 600 still remaining the Asus Dual. For 650 is the TUF one. Now let's review the next one, which is a KFA2, which I found in the Eagers lab. You can see the power limit to 15. Let's see the cooling. Here we can see it has good cooling for the components, because the VRM chips and chokes from this side has a direct contact, but from this side only the VRM chips has a direct contact. These 2 VRM chokes being cooled only by the air, they have no contact. And this one responsible for the memory and being cooled only by the air. That's why it's getting the good rating, not a very good one. But again, 8 phases, and see what VRM chips this card is using. Again, Alpha Omega 1, 8 phases. Noise level is comparably quieter compared to the other. The same Gigabyte 3 cooler version is quieter, temperature is lower. So again, this is not a bad card, 8-pin, but again $680. I cannot recommend this over the Asus TUF one. You have to see your local prices, but it's a good card besides this one factor. The next one is this brand. Maybe it's a local Korean brand I never saw, but as I found the review with the help of community member, I decided to include this one. It's an Phantek, I guess. The first one is a 2 cooler card. This one, 2 cooler card, similar to the Palit Dual or PNY Dual. 200 watts, it's a compact card, 298mm fans, so it should be quieter. Let's check. Yep. Yes, similar to the Asus Dual. Let's see the internals. So again, this one is being cooled the VRM chokes, VRM chips, and only From this part only the VRM chips is being cooled, so this one should get a good rating. Yeah, you can see the only VRM chips is being cooled. The chokes is being cooled through the air, so we put a good rating for that type of cooling. And they are using NCP 8-phase. No, again, this is 6-phase. 6-phase plus 2 for the memory. So it was $600. It's run hotter than the dual. Similar noise level, similar component cooling, lower power limit, lower phases. Again, why anybody should buy this one if they cost similar? I cannot recommend it over the dual. The next one from this manufacturer is a 3-fan card. It's a Gaming Pro. So this card has 215 watts, which I found. So it's 200. Here we can see. So for this type of cooling, I put the OK mark, because even though the VRM chips is being cooled, some of the VRM chips with a direct contact, but the remaining is being cooled through this metal piece, which is not so effective compared to the direct cooling. So if we look here, so this one has a direct contact, but this 3 is being cooled only through the metal piece. So temperatures for these ones will be higher. So for this type of cooling, I'm putting the OK mark. And again, how many phases? So it's a 7-phase for the GPU and 2-phase for the memory. Again, using NCP, which is a good, running comparably to the Asus tough version, but has worse component cooling. The noise level for this one was strangely very low, but I don't know, maybe that it's some kind of configuration of the BIOS which use less power, because I investigated this one. Here we can see 56, but as this is in a Korean website, I used to cross calculate the numbers, so I will show it later in the video how I using this cross calculation method for all the different size to make them in the similar tech power up measurement level to be able to compare them, and the same also regarding the noise level. So the noise level here I used to calculate, and yeah, I saw here that this card is using just 200 watts. And we'll check the other card. So what I was thinking, that from the factory they somehow undervolted this card, so getting that type of low temperature and low noise, because if we see the colorful, like it's a GPU boost clock, it's 2699, and when we see this card, it's boosted around 110 megahertz lower. And when we go to the power consumption, we can see here that the average is 189, and the power consumption of the colorful is 208, and this is 224, the peak 205. So it's using 10% less power. That could be one of the reasons why it's so quiet, because 22 is like the quietest, the close to this, only the Inno3 did this one, but it's surprisingly quiet. So anyways, $730 for this one, and it says only the quiet, the noise advantage for being quiet, which again, like below 30 you won't notice that much, less phases compared to the tough one, okay cooling, and what says it's a longer card, just 200 watts power limit and 12 pin, so I cannot recommend this card over the tough one. And the last newcomer is a Poly Dual again, which I found in the Kit Guru site. Let's see the PCB. It's a 6+2. The cooling. This one should be good. Yeah, because it says a direct contact for the VRM chips. VRM chokes here is cooled with the direct contact, here just with the air. But that's sufficient for this card. And it has 8 pin. So again, $600. It's run hotter than the Dual. It has similar type of memory temperature, similar type of component cooling, worse normalized temperatures, runs noisier, 200 watt power limit, 6 phases again aced, and the VRM chip is similar. So after 10 more cards, let's summarize that my recommendation, if the prices is like this, if you want to buy let's say the value card out of this 20, it's Asus Dual. I have community members who purchased this card already. They are very satisfied, they share the experience. Only one of them, I guess, was having some issue with whine noise, if not mistaken, so they returned for exchange, but the rest of them was quite happy. So good temperatures, good cooling, good fan type, low noise, above the average quantity of phases, good manufacturer for VRM chips. So if this is the cheapest available, then everybody should buy this card. The next one for the premium type of buyers who want to get some premium cards with even lower noise level, again TIFE is remaining my recommendation. And previously I was saying for the small compact cases people should consider FE, but here we have an Inno 3D, which even though has Alpha Omega VRM chips, but is much quieter card. Again, some people already purchased this card and they were quite satisfied. So I can say, so for the compact cases, you can consider buying this one also as an alternative. And the next alternative for this one, but with a little bit higher temperature, could be the Poly Dual or the PNY, if they cost similar price with better VRM chips. So that's it for the part 2, and at the end I would like to show how we are doing cross calculation for the temperatures and the noise level. Let's say like here we have the first bench was from the Tech Power Up site, and every card you hit the model name, it opened the web page which I used for the calculation. So for example, the Kit Guru web page, we find here the Gigabyte WindForce. We have this reviewer also reviewed the Poly Dual. We going to the noise level. Here we go. So we have a Poly Dual here, 36 dB. So, and we have a Gigabyte WindForce 35. So that means that the Poly Dual is 1 dB louder for this reviewer. And we have a NVIDIA FE which is 35, which means the FE and the WindForce has a similar noise level. So in Tech Power Up we have a FE which runs 32.5. So here we can see that both cards has a similar noise level. So we have to put 32.5. This is a very rough type of calculation, I understand that, but it's better than nothing. So we put in here 32.5 for the same WindForce, because in this side they get the same similar noise level. We have 32.5 from the Tech Power Up, so we're putting the Tech Power Up number 32.5 for the WindForce, and automatically we are calculating poly dual noise, which is 1 dB more, and putting here 33.5. So with similar technique, I managed to get the normalized temperatures in the review sites, which used to publish the normalized number. I get all this not normalized the temperature levels, and I get the noise levels. So this is the technique, and by this technique I calculated also this 22, but which for me still looks strange because the card use like 10% less power, so it's looks like they undervolted that card from the factory to get these numbers compared to the other cards. So, but as this is not my recommendation and this is not a popular manufacturer, and maybe nobody will meet this card in the US, so nothing to worry. But again, like, let's say it's undervolted from the factory, you can overclock it a little bit, and these temperatures will be like 61, 62. This noise level will come like 26, 27. Still, this card will be very quiet. But again, just to let you know how I make all this spreadsheet with all these different reviewers to make it comparable. So this is the technique, this is the spreadsheet. We have already 20 cards. I guess we can add another 10, especially we don't have any reviewing the Zotac. I still, if you manage to find the Zotac, please send me the links. I will review that to this spreadsheet. Some more Gigabyte, the Gigabyte Eagle, the Gigabyte Aero, I guess missing. There should be the MSI Ventus 2X. And I guess maybe Asus Strix. So 10 more, and this spreadsheet will be complete, and we'll do part 3. But until that, please, if you have any other ideas, as you can see, I'm filling up this spreadsheet. I already have 4070 Ti, I'm working on 4080, 4060. So as soon as it will be ready, I will make the videos about each card, and I'm planning to cover all the models, at least the current like 4 series from the Nvidia and 7 series from AMD, to help you guys to make a right choice and to spend your money wisely, because this is a very rare situation when we can almost get any model of the card which we want. Like at least last like 5-6 years we have to buy which is available, but now almost everything is available. So we have to know which has better quality and which will have better resale value, and put our money in that card. And again, like in my channel, I'm helping my viewers to upgrade with very affordable options. And recently I got 2080 Ti for $200, and we'll be making a video about that card, how I'm changing the thermal pads, making it look like a brand new, cleaning everything, then giving one of my subscribers chance to buy that card for 200, and I will pay for the shipping. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, leave your comments, your thoughts, share with me the ideas which you would like to see in this channel, and see you in the next one. Thank you.